Hello, my name is Owen Evans and I'm a member of the support team at Colleague Software. The purpose of this video is to guide you through Colleague's requirement workflow in version 6. A requirement is Colleague's terminology for a job or vacancy. The workflow within a requirement entity is designed to record the specific detail related to an opportunity and take a consultant through the stages of recruitment, from linking a candidate to a requirement to making the placement. A requirement can be created from the requirement selection window. However, our suggested workflow would be to do this from a contact record. Select your primary contact for the vacancy, press Requirements, and then click Add New. This will create a new requirement record. Select the address relating to the vacancy and then enter the job title. Enter the number of vacancies you're looking to fill against the requirement, and then select the type. Colleague supports both permanent and contract workflows. A contract is understood to be an opportunity that exists within a fixed time period. There is an intended start date for the role and a projected contract length. A rolling contract has no fixed end date but is subject to renewal at agreed intervals. Permanent requirements have no end date. Based on your type selection, the form will update to show contract length, rates or salary information, and renewal options. The start date is a note field, should you wish to state a generic timescale rather than a specific date. Hours per week is a numeric field, and currency will give you a list of the monetary currencies you're intending to trade in, defaulting with pound sterling. There is a free text field to record associated benefits with the role. When dealing with rates, you have the ability to record multiple rate types. If you are factoring in pay-as-you-earn charge and pay rates, these can also be recorded. You can also make use of the calculator to generate your pay and charge rate margin. Date filled will be populated when the requirement is placed. Picked up is the creation date of the requirement record. By will display the user that created the requirement, and worked by will indicate who is working the requirement. The status field can and will often be tailored to suit your needs, but by default the status is live when a requirement is created. You will note that when first creating a requirement, you'll be able to access the Basic, Custom Fields and Skills tabs. The Custom Fields tab is bespoke to all systems. Here, you can add any unique fields particular to your business or industry. If you're interested in using this tab, please refer to the Custom Field Maintenance video. Against the Skills tab, you will have the option to record the required skill sets necessary for suitable candidates. There is also an auto-update option that will populate these skills against the associated contact and company record. On clicking Save, the requirement will be given a unique reference number. You will also now be able to access the History, Job Description, Candidates, and Documents tabs. The Skills, History, Job Description and Documents tabs work in exactly the same way as they do against the other entity records. Additional notes recorded within the job description will be free text searchable, and any workflow run against the requirement will generate a history log. We've now come to the Candidates tab, which is the focal point of the requirement. In here, you will be able to track the candidates you've put forward for the vacancy. There are numerous ways of doing this, not all of which are within the requirement record. Against a candidate record, there is an option off the right-click menu to Attach to Job. From a requirement record, you can click the Search button, and this will generate a search of all candidates which match the skills of the vacancy. You can refine this search to attach candidates to the requirement en masse. There is also a Send Candidates feature, which will fast-track the candidate to be associated to the requirement, as well as emailing the primary contact the candidate's CV. If we go back to our requirement, you can now see that we have a number of candidates which have been attached. At this stage, you may wish to review and filter these candidates. You can do this by using the Summary view to quickly access the person's CV, or by using the Candidate button to open their record. You can then remove unsuitable candidates by clicking Delete. Depending on your filtering process, you may wish to perform an internal interview at this stage. But let's say that we've filtered out a selection of candidates so that we have our shortlist. The next stage is to send these candidates to the contact. This can be done on a per candidate basis or in batch. When sending a candidate, you will be given the option to generate diary reminders to help manage your follow-up. The generated email will attach all of the candidate's default CVs. You can then use a suitable template for the wording of the email and send it. The correspondence is recorded against the requirement record, and there is also a history note recording the event created against the candidate as well as the contact record. Based on your contact's feedback, you can then record whether the candidates have been rejected or approved for interview. With our approved list of candidates, we can now process the interviews. This is done on a per candidate basis. You will be able to specify an interview date and time, as well as a separate diary entry, should you wish to prompt your follow-up on how it went. Your primary candidate and contact will appear here, but there is an option to also include secondary attendees to the interview as well. After recording any necessary interview notes, you can select whether this workflow is to generate a letter, email the candidate, or email the contact. In this instance, we'll select to email the candidate. When recording the interview, you will be given the option to CC all the associated participants, including any of the secondary contacts you may have added. You can then use a template to populate the details of the interview before sending. A client's feedback to a candidate is managed through the rejection process, and further interviews are recorded as before. It is also worth noting that there are options to send letters, text messages, and emails in batch to any of the candidates attached to the requirement. You can apply a bespoke status to the requirement process and manage them through the Status button. And there is a Notes option to record any specific details relating to a candidate within this requirement. We're now at the offer stage, assuming that one of the candidates you have put forward has been successful. The offer process will generate the first stages of a placement record. This is designed to contain the initial proposal being offered by the contact to the candidate and give you the workflow to track the negotiation. Rejecting the offer will give you the ability to track the reason and close the record. Accepting the offer will convert the record into a placement. At this stage, the process understands you have an agreement in principle between both parties, allowing for the generation of contracts. On receipt of the contracts, the consultant has made the placement and can now authorize. Once authorized, the placement will become read-only. There is a two-stage authorization process against a placement record. This is designed to cater for a consultant's initial authorization, followed by a second-level authorization to track management approval. Once second-level authorized, the placement record is ready to accept timesheets or to be processed via the back-office workflow. This will be covered in a separate video. We hope you found this demonstration helpful. If you have any queries, please feel free to contact the support team or your account manager.